Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I'm looking at another I Did a Thing video. These aren't really getting views, but I like them anyway. So this one is, can you survive a wildfire by hiding in a bath? And I am going to assume no is going to be my assumption. I think maybe part of it depends on how hot the wildfire you're actually in gets. But I think in general, even if you put the water, even if you're submerged in water, if the fire around you is hot enough, that water's going to start to boil and you're just going to kind of cook yourself, literally and metaphorically. So my guess is no, you can't survive a wildfire by hiding in a bath. But he is going to tell me for sure what's possible. And so let us begin.
Check out this tree and see if you can spot something I didn't before I bought this place. It's burnt. Every single tree here is burnt. And that's real bad, as some idiot made all of them out of wood. You know what's also made out of wood? My new house. So what am I going to do if a bushfire does rip through the property? Or even worse, what if there are marauders?
Marauders! I guess that's more likely.
Could I survive by hiding in your normal household objects like your bathtub? Or am I just cooked?
Fridge.
Alright, now I'm picking 3 things to attempt to survive in.
The fridge might help
first is
too.
the bathtub. And it makes sense if you don't think about it very hard. It's made out of steel, it's wet, and it's a contained space.
Why
There was
would
a
he
really
do that?
interesting article published by a fire coroner that showed that around 50% of people that die in their house are located in their bathroom and even the bathtub. And I don't think that's because they were dropping their kids off at the pool when the fire came through.
Dang.
It's probably because
It's
it
actually
feels
showing
like a
ass
safer
cheek on
room filled
YouTube.
with less flammable objects than my garage. So I'm going to do the best case scenario and get a cast iron bathtub filled with water and then put a wet towel on top. My flawed
I just
logic
think you're
here
gonna
is if water filled with
blister
smoke in a
yourself.
bong, surely it will work with a wet towel in a bath. Next we got your fridge. Well, not your
See,
fridge.
fridge
I
is what
couldn't
I was-
work out where you
Fridge is what I was thinking maybe has a slightly better chance of working, but I think you'd probably still suffocate though. Like, and again, I feel like the metal heats it up. Like it depends on how, if it stays cold, like is the heat going to just pop, I don't know. I feel like no. I feel like you're in trouble. I feel like if there's wildfires, going somewhere to hide. If there's an underground area, maybe. I think maybe if you've got some kind of cellar, like a storm cellar, like for tornadoes or something, I think maybe that maybe would help if you're actually underground.
live. I'm getting the exact fridge from the Indiana Jones movie where
Oh.
Harrison Ford hid in it and survived a nuclear blast and then
Yeah,
got
well, that-
shingles. And fridges are a pretty common movie escape trope, but I'm not sure there is anything safe about them, as they are covered in toxic plastic, have a compressor, and
Yeah.
are usually filled with stinky fish.
That's usually what they are filled with, indeed. Or if you're playing the Voices of the Void game, they're filled with shrimp. I don't know why I said it that way. Also, I'm just throwing things off of my desk now.
Then for all you Americans, we have a fireproof gun safe, and it's got walls made out of
Oh.
steel and gyprock, which is meant to insulate it and keep the temperature under 150
Again,
degrees. And this sounds a lot better than a
suffocate,
fridge,
though.
but I don't know, as even if you don't die from the heat, unlike the guns in the safe, you need oxygen to survive. And to make this test slightly scientific, I'm going to put a thermometer in each with an oxygen and a
Okay.
CO2 reader, so we all know exactly how effective they are. But first, I'm going to do a small scale test. And this ain't looking good for the mini bath, as after only a minute of this tiny house being on fire, the water
Oh, that would be fun though. Yeah, let's burn, baby, burn. Like, I mean, you all know me. I literally have a little torch in like grabbable range of me. Like this was right behind me on my desk. See, just popped it right back over there.
was already boiling, but maybe it'll
I
be
love
different
fire.
with a bigger bath. For the fireproof safe, I made this box, which is gyprock mined straight from the source, some felt, and then sheet metal. And this is pretty promising. I kept this flame against it for like 10 minutes, and the heat inside didn't go up at all.
Oh.
And inside is cold.
But I don't think we learned anything from this small test, except not to give a 3-year-old a powerful laser.
Do it.
Okay.
Give it to, yeah, absolutely. You give
Which
the
means I need
3-year-old a
real
powerful
house to
laser.
burn. Heads, I burned down this house. Tails, I need to make one.
Yes.
So the first step in building a house is getting two mates to do all the work.
Lovely.
Dan and Liam.
I have helped build a shed when I was quite young. I also helped build a treehouse because my grandfather was in charge of building both of those things for my parents. And he decided that 9-year-olds need to know how to build houses. So I had to help. Also, well, the treehouse, I wanted a treehouse, and basically the rule was if my grandfather was going to build something for me or my siblings that we wanted, we had to help. So that is why I helped build a go-kart when I was like 4. And by helped, I mean I probably for that, like he explained what he was doing, but like I think I probably just held stuff in place for that. But I do remember being quite young. And learning how to use like a bandsaw and like be very careful as you cut along this, I learned how to, and like, we learned a little bit about how to build a shed. I don't remember most of it probably, but I do know that I helped build it. Again, probably mostly holding stuff in place, a little bit of cutting because he wanted us to know how to make power tools, but like our go-kart was sick though. Like, it was really cool. It had little pedals, and like it had like you could really cool steering, and it like right down the hill. It was awesome. Anyway.
Dan builds houses for hippies in the mountains, and Liam is a professional architect with a YouTube channel. Mates that have different names will also work for building a house. So if anything goes wrong, we all know who's at fault.
The mates
and
with
at
different
first
names.
I thought I'd spend $1,000 on wood, but why would I do that when I can buy a $2,500 chainsaw and then spend an hour ruining the bar to make an Alaskan mill, which allows you to turn anything wooden into more wood? You know what they say, give a man a stinky fish and he'll eat it, but give a man a chainsaw and he'll be eating stinky fish for life.
I feel like that might end up being a better investment just based on what he does, but we'll see.
But I did forget that the wood of this tree is still very wet, and the same with the giant gum tree that fell down on the property. So this ain't gonna make good building material or burn very well. So instead we stole the neighbour's trailer and headed down to the local tip.
All right, let's jack it up and take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you
Stop
can't
wandering
really
around
hide
with
in a
bare
dunny,
feet.
though. Maybe you could hide a baby in a dunny.
And after almost getting into a fight with a man about a hoe,
You got the hoe?
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, hoe's on the house. Enjoy your hoe.
we somehow got everything we needed to burn, including a Chubb fireproof safe, a
Nice.
fridge, and a cast iron bath, all from one tip.
Cool.
Unfortunately, the tip didn't have much good wood though, but we met some tradies who gave us
got some
free
good stuff,
concrete
though.
formwork. So then we pointed at a plan and worked out that the tradies' wood was not going to be enough. So we also had to buy some pine for the walls and frame. And we tried to get the
Yeah.
untreated stuff, but there is still some pretty nasty chemicals in plywood, similar to cigarettes. And I mean exactly the same as cigarettes.
Dang.
And we are kind of just making our own version of an IKEA burnable house, where we pre-make all the walls in the neighbour's garage and then hopefully can just walk them over and nail them in place. And the first wall looks like a floor, but that's because it's on
It's
the
on the
floor
ground.
and not on the wall. Then the
Yet.
other walls came together perfectly.
Yay!
So
That
once we
looks
had a
great.
big stack of walls, we moved on to the floor, which we were going to make in one giant piece.
This is why you should wear freaking shoes when you're using power tools. He's got the ear protection, but there's no eye protection and there's no shoes. Wear shoes.
And I can't tell you how long I've wanted to use one of these. Like legally, I signed an NDA and I can't. But it's my new favorite tool. And it's crazy to think
Nail
that
gun.
a tool company watched my hammer gun video and made a more functional version of it. And we did forget about the weight of the floor and almost made it too heavy to move. And
Good
after an
job.
hour of
Well,
moving
there's only two
panels
of
to the
you.
top of the hill, we realized we could have just made everything up there.
Well, you have to be careful, right? Like, what if it had rained?
And you would think that with the combined brain power of a YouTuber, architect, and builder, that this whole build would come together smoothly, and we would be able to get the basics like wall dimensions right. But somehow we either stuffed up the floor or the wall. So we took it back down and weren't pissed off at all.
Nope. Collapse. Again, I'm so nervous about... See, this man's wearing shoes and ear protection. This man is the only one I'd allow to work on my set. Okay, never mind. He's not allowed to work on my set.
Throughout this whole building process, there was a constant feeling of everything being completely pointless. Like usually the things I make are useless, but I've never put this much effort into something whose only purpose is to be destroyed.
Burn, baby,
which resulted in
burn.
Dan, Liam, and I constantly arguing about what to do.
Well, you know what? It might be useless, but also maybe not, because now you can put the information out there about what is and what is not safe to hide in case of a big wildfire. So saving lives worth the effort.
Missed.
I wanted zero effort, Liam wanted it to just stand upright, and Dan thought we were actually building him a real house. And we didn't want to break the illusion and tell him we were burning it all down, so we let him do a fancy thing called bird mouths on the rafters. And look, I'll tell you a secret. Some of my other subscribers have been saying some pretty nasty stuff about you. They said, Paul, you're a nice guy, but you're real stupid. And you don't know what a bird's mouth is. They also said some stuff about your sister, but we all know that's true. So Paul, a bird's mouth is this joint right here. And it's for the rafters, so they sit nicely on the walls. And it makes no difference at all. But remember, Dan thinks this is actually his house.
Not correct?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. What's happened? Doesn't reach?
Well, no. Not by a long shot.
So we tried for an hour or two to make one, but couldn't even get one of them right. So we just called it a day and went fishing.
Fair.
Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yay! This looks like fun. That's beautiful.
And look at that. It's the sponsor of today's video, Udu. Udu is an all.
Oh, I thought that the fish are gonna be our our human equivalent. You know, pop the fish into all of these places and see what happens to them.
Business management software that provides entrepreneurs like me with a range of applications to simplify the day-to-day management of their business, including invoicing, accounting, project management, website creation, and more. Today I'm focusing on the Udu inventory application, which is essential for any business looking to manage its stocks effectively and adaptively with advanced features like barcode management, smart storage rules, and complete traceability. It offers a comprehensive solution to maximize productivity and minimize errors. It allows you to efficiently manage inventory, effortlessly organize your shelves and aisles, and automate product routing from your warehouse and other retail points. Also, if you are doing the picking and packing, you can optimize your processes with smart strategies such as wave, cluster, and batch picking, as well as first in, first out, last in, first out, and average costs. I love that. What about you want to do some real-time tracking? Well, Udu has that as well, and you can stay updated on stock levels, expiration dates, and product movements. With the integrated barcode scanner, you can easily register the incoming stock to the warehouse in seconds, saving you from redundant manual work. So start saving time in your warehouse and streamline the flow with Udu Inventory. Click my link in the description to get started with Udu. The first app is free for life with unlimited hosting and support. Okay, day 2, and we're back to doing bird mouths.
Oh, he got it.
And that worked this time. So we cut 1 billion more and then just slapped on the roof.
So I guess that's why you don't have to
Then
do as many
nibbled
nails.
some tin sheet before slapping that on.
How can you not know if you're circumcised, though?
Pretty sure I am. I just don't want to make my dad feel uncomfortable asking.
And there we go. There was only one more
You
thing
can
to
just
make.
look.
Alright, let me check. Don't put the drill back in.
And now the cabin is done. But I forgot something pretty major.
A
There
door.
might, maybe, possibly, definitely be a total fire ban. so we can't legally light it on fire. And usually I
Aw.
would do it anyway, but people aren't going to be happy if I set the whole area on fire while making a video about fire safety,
No.
which means we're going to have to wait a month for the fire ban to end and also get
Oh.
permission from the fireman. And that's also the end of Liam and Dan. So go check out
They're
Liam's
dead.
YouTube channel where
They're
he does
gone.
things slightly better than I do on his channel Morosi Makes. Okay, 1 month later. It's moldy
Gross.
and wet. We're going to have to dry it out somehow.
Dang. That's crazy.
The cabin is fairly dry now, so we waited for a non-windy night when my mates were feeling pretty hungry.
And there's a chicken in there.
Yes, a chicken.
Oh.
Would you like to write anything nice?
They probably should have treated it, you know? Like, they should have put a stain on there. They should have put something on those walls, not just leaving them plain wood for a month.
No, I'd like to put that. I'd like to put that over here,
Tell me where you want to put it, please.
right here. A step ladder into the.
Ruins the shot.
No, it doesn't.
Also, who has a bathtub in their living room with their safe? All of this is wrong already.
Not everyone's a rich YouTuber. Some people have to live like this.
So inside the fridge, safe, and bath, I put some chickens, thermometer, and an oxygen reader. And the sensors aren't fireproof, but they don't need to be, because if they melt, we'll know it was hot.
Yeah.
And here are my predictions. The fridge chicken is going to be completely gone, bath chicken is going to boil, and I reckon the chicken in the safe might survive, but will suffocate.
Yes, I think
Smells
that makes sense. Especially because like the fridge isn't hooked up to any electricity or anything, so it's not even starting cold.
Is it going all over your feet?
Is it? Is that enough?
Scissors, paper, rock. Scissors, paper, rock.
Chili.
Hey, Julie, you got it. You got limited time.
Whoa!
Oh,
And I'm not sure why we had so much trouble lighting this cabin full of petrol, so I tried again with my favorite cocktail.
Molotov.
whoa.
Wow.
Holy
And place your bets now on what's going to happen to me when I run into the cabin to get the intro shot of me running out. A, I get burnt. B, I find a penny. And C, I forgot that I shattered glass on the ground and cut open my foot.
What is going on? Should put on the.
That's bad. That's really bad.
What?
You know what I completely forgot about?
What?
The fact that that is filled with glass.
Oh.
I've got a really...
Shoes!
Oh.
That's why I'm telling you, shoes are a good thing when you're doing dangerous shit.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cut.
That's a good cut.
Okay.
So after patching up my foot and putting on shoes, we refilled the cabin with petrol and tried again.
No. Is that meant to happen, Jimmy?
Yeah, that is what is meant to happen, but I don't know why they did that.
Yep, we're out. I reckon we do it.
I think hands the only way. Right?
Like, why was it necessary to siphon? Like, that is what's supposed to happen, but why would you do that?
Whoa! Whoa! What the?
And you don't need me to explain what just went wrong there, but I'm lucky, stupidly lucky.
Oh, like he's probably gonna light it by hand. Oh yeah, I don't want to be too close to this.
Wow.
What temperature it is inside?
2000.
I like to filter this angle.
I really, wow.
Dude, it's over 600 degrees in there. You can feel the heat from here.
Yeah.
Bring us more.
What the?
Where's your marshmallows?
I mean, we can't. Wait. Could we, yeah. I don't think I'm going to do anything. You call the wait, grab that, whatever that is down there.
Careful.
Wow.
Holy I did not think it would be that hot.
That's
Dude,
crazy.
this is not good.
This is not good.
Should we just start spraying it?
Right, the cabin is going up quickly. It was already over 700 degrees Celsius. And it's so hot that we had absolutely no chance of putting this out, even if we wanted to. We couldn't get within 10 meters of it.
You're doing a good job.
And you know, previously when I saw the houses of celebrities and influencers burn down, I
Wow.
didn't care. But knowing it could happen to me and seeing how hard it was to control this small burn has definitely encouraged me to get some firefighting equipment of my own.
Oh, here we go.
Holy
Which is really
shit.
good that we picked a wet day with no wind, as the fire still seems contained. But if the wind picks up and these embers change direction, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Well, I think that's the worst of the...
So the first thing to go was the roof, which knocked the bathtub through the floor. And I sound like an idiot saying this, but I just couldn't believe how hot the fire was.
That's
So I'm
crazy.
changing my prediction. No chicken is surviving this.
Yeah.
So after we
Wow,
for
yeah.
an hour, which is a much shorter time than a real house would be on fire, we started putting it out. And it wasn't looking good for the bath chickens or the fridge
Nope.
chickens.
Nope,
What is
nope.
boiling in the left side, but I
You just get...
Boiled alive.
Yeah. Full on boiled
Okay,
alive.
well,
That's what I thought would
I mean, I
happen.
feel like we don't need to check on the chickens at this point. Like, there's a pretty certain thing here.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, they're dead.
I'm feeling a little bit dumb for ever thinking that there might be something to this video at all.
Let me get the plate in there as well. Oh,
actually looks well cooked.
that looks delicious.
Wow. You could eat. Don't eat
It's
it.
just
Oh no, that's like cooked all the way
It tastes like
through.
lobster.
That's cooked all the way through. Holy shit.
Moist.
And somehow the chickens tasted amazing, even with the aftertaste of burnt towel. But before we open up the fridge and safe, we're going to wait till it cools down in the morning. And the most impressive thing about this is not the fire, but the fact that the bathtub fell through the floor and still stayed upright.
How did the bathtub land exactly on its
Yeah,
leg?
it like Looney Tunes. And also, look, this is the fridge chicken.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, look how good that looks.
Wait, pick it up.
tries to make a run for it.
Oh!
So crispy.
Crispy.
Okay, so don't hide in the fridge.
Don't
No,
like it.
fridge is terrible.
It actually looks pretty,
Right.
almost a little bit good.
Ooh, you don't know the combination to the safe.
What? The knobs melted. That was metal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
This looks delicious. Where did the thermometer go?
Toasty.
You can't negotiate with a fire.
No, none of that.
You can't argue with it.
You just have to get
That
far away
looks
from it.
that looks really good. That one cooked like the most prettiest. It looks like, but oh my god. Yeah, that's why when they say fire's coming, you evacuate.
Possible.
You know, if there is actually a bushfire, the only thing to do is get out of there, as that's the only way to actually stay safe. But definitely chuck some chickens in the bath, as you'll have the most delicious chicken dinner to come back to.
No house, but chicken. Anyway. Basically what I expected. But I wasn't expecting when I started the video that he was going to have multiple options. I don't know. Maybe if you have some kind of very like a root cellar, like an actual hole in the ground kind of thing, maybe you'll be okay. I do not know how deep the heat can go. I have never lived in a place where wildfires were really a potential problem. Or a danger. So when I was living on the East Coast, we did have a couple of hurricanes. And again, I lived in Baltimore, so we didn't like the hurricanes that we had. The bad ones, we had to deal with some stuff. I remember Hurricane Isabel, for instance, that was a big deal. But like mostly just raining, a lot of rain, a lot of wind. We had a tornado out there once. Honestly, we had a tornado out there. We had a earthquake out there one time. That was really weird. And then here in Chicago, obviously tornadoes are more of an issue, but like, except for they're not. Except for like, there's been like 2 since I moved here, like 2 tornado watches or something. There hasn't been a lot of that where I am. There's been a few tornado warnings, tornado watches. But never fires. So earthquakes, yes. Tornadoes, yes. Hurricanes, yes. Hailstorms. The hailstorms that I've witnessed have been pretty bad. But I've not had to deal with fire. So I don't know. I know how to deal with the other things. I would not know how to start with a fire. I wouldn't. So Maybe going underground, maybe not. The only sure thing that I know of is to leave. But thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and let me know what I should look at in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.